Hey, what's going on, YouTube? I'm Xander Connect, and I'm here to talk to you about why I left the Seventh-day Adventist Church and became a Roman Catholic. And I'm here to answer some of your questions that you had for me in the last video. Um, I do a lot of videos about different subjects, but that ended up being the second most viewed on my channel. Not that that's saying a whole lot. So I'd like to get into that and share some of my recent experience with you after we start with a little Bach. So I'm going to go through some of these comments, not all 228 of them, but some of them in really fast lightning round fashion, starting with Lemuel Yap. God bless you, bro. Welcome to the true church built by Jesus. Thank you, brother. It's good to be home. I can't pronounce the name of this next one in a family-friendly video. His name is I don't give a bleepity bleep. Shut up. Built by Emperor Constantine, not Jesus Christ. Peter was long way dead before your church was founded at 313 AD. It happened in Israel, not in Rome. Your church is a blasphemy and slaps Jesus Christ. Pagan worshippers. Wow. And all I said was, I'll be praying for you and your family as well. I was Catholic and converted to SDA. I follow Jesus with all your heart. With all your heart. I do think a lot of these comments may be from outside the United States, and it's important to be respectful to them and realize that maybe if they come across a little blunt, I think their heart is still in the right place. And I'm glad they're asking questions. And don't look to people. At the end is not your education or doctorate. Jesus did not attend any doctorate programs. Although there's an academic bent for sure in Adventism and Catholicism, I think that I can say that I feel like we always knew this. I kind of always knew it inside. There's something very intuitive, very emotional almost about the faith. You can approach it from many ways. I really don't think that any sort of education necessarily has anything whatsoever to do with being a Catholic or not. Why call the priest father? Google it. There are a lot of very good, better worded than I could put at least, answers to that online. Here's a comment. How can you go to Mass to start off with a dead bone talking about relics? Smacks of ecumenism. This is a common word that's used in a lot of Adventists. It seems to be something that they're really afraid of. I guess there's this theory that all religions will unite in a false religion at the end of the world. I, for one, think there's a lot of history on our side. The ecumenical councils were not all religions and pagans coming together. It was the bishops of the church gathering together. That's the root of the word. So it's sort of hard to argue when we don't even agree on the definition of the word. But no, I think the Catholic Church agreeing all around the world is a good thing. The papacy is the beast in Revelations. That is not my belief. There have been corrupt popes, obviously, but I believe that every person or institution in a position of power that compromises towards evil becomes part of the beast, in a nutshell. Okay, welcome home, brother. God set us free with his blood. Yes. Let's talk about some of the more recent comments. This one I think is interesting. John Doe says, sorry to hear. I think if I had to put my finger on it, it's because he went to Loma Linda and La Sierra. I actually didn't go to Loma Linda. I'm not a doctor or a nurse or anything, but I did go to La Sierra. I went there for undergrad. I went there too, and it was very liberal and disconnected. Tennessee and Southern Adventist University was far better. SDA is the right church. Okay, I somewhat agree with this comment in that when I was there, I did feel like there were many professors who claimed to be SDA, but privately didn't seem to believe any of it distinctively, Adventist beliefs. And yet, when I look at the comments on this video, I feel a lot of love for these people. I think a lot of them may be coming from a place of fear. There was this one comment that said, why are you saying don't be afraid? That's what some Jesuit said when they tried to demonically possess me. And some of these people are just doing the best they can. But if you're in the position to be a professor, if you're that educated, at least I'm not here to judge anyone else, but for me, personally speaking, I would never want to be in that position where I know that someone is on a track that I think is spiritually harmful, or at least not ideal. And I wouldn't want to sort of tacitly encourage that by giving credence or credibility through doing work in my position. Again, this is something that we all have to figure out on our own. Life's complicated, but that's my personal conviction. That was one reason why I feel so much more at peace now as a Catholic, because I can profess what I actually believe. So I know this video is getting terribly long, but I just wanted to close with some experiences from my first year of being Catholic. I actually haven't received the confirmation and First Communion yet, but I will soon, and I eagerly anticipate it. I have a friend who's Christian but ex-Adventist, and I'd quote him and say that when you grow up Adventist, everything outside the system seems bad and scary. Yeah, that's how I felt at first. The system is interesting. By the way, I think that this is somewhat the case, at least for many evangelical Protestants as well, who are now considering Catholicism. There's a system in place, who you associate with, your friends, where you work. In the Adventist world, certainly, medical professions are very common, Loma Linda. Who you marry, even in many cases. And then to step outside of that, maybe it requires some openness to the world that may have felt uncomfortable before as a Christian. But really what it is deepening your spiritual sense of what it means to be in the world but not of the world. The other thing I'd say is that it's a little bit difficult to make these new connections sometimes. One thing the Protestant world does well, I guess, is it makes it very easy to be plugged into these networks. You just walk into a church and we've got a group for you. There are some shortcomings of that system. There were for me. But really, for me, all it meant was that it just takes a little more work. You just have to be a little bit more intentional about it. And once you do, I think you'll be very blessed. I met some wonderful people on the Word on Fire Institute. That was a big part of why I converted in the first place, actually, just listening to it on the way to work in the car. I met people there. I met them at my local parish in Loma Linda, St. Joseph the Worker, and at USC, where I started my RCIA class. That's about all I have to say today, but as always, if you have any questions you want to ask me respectfully, just leave them in the comments or send me an email or any other way, and I'll try to answer them there or in my next video if I can. Like and subscribe if you feel so inclined, and God bless you all.